What's going on, everyone, to the innovation dungeon right here. So yeah, I don't got a lot of time today, which is why I'm recording in my room with no green screen and etc. And this topic that I'm going to be talking about right now is extreme forces and how it's going to shift the meta, because in the comment section, I forgot whoever subscriber asked, he talked about what are my thoughts on how extreme forces are going to shape everything we're going to have going forward. So before I get to the actual discussion portion of the video, I'm going to take some time to say, if you guys hit that like button and subscribe button, it would be great. By smashing the like button, you guys support the channel, and by leaving a comment, you guys help boost me in a new YouTube algorithm to help grow my channel pretty much. So yeah, now that I got that out of the way, extreme forces. So extreme forces sneak peek past this prior weekend. If you guys didn't check out my top 10 best cards out of that set, you guys can click right here. And coming out of that set, we got some awesome cards like Hey True Nade, Heavy Metal Foes Electrum, and then a lot of Mech Knights and FAs and stuff. So first thing I'm gonna talk about is Heavy Metal Foes Electrum. So this card specifically is gonna help change things up for the meta. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, we don't get a ban list. Me, myself, I have a regionals this upcoming Saturday, and I'm not looking forward to playing against almost Pepe 2.0 Pendulum Magicians. And that's simply due to the fact of how powerful Heavy Metal Foes Electrum is. It gives Pendulum decks a great card to allow them to get 2 opposing extra monster zones, and then with the ability to add cards from your deck to your extra deck, the ability to pop a card on your board to add that card back that you just added, pretty much like tutoring. And I believe he allows you to draw cards and etc. The Heavy Metal Foes Electrum card definitely boosts the power in Pendulum decks, and then you got cards like Pendulum Paradox coming out. Pendulum decks in general post Extreme Forces get a major boost for the upcoming meta, and then if Spirals don't get nuked on the ban list, and or we don't get a ban list for another month or so, we're going to be going neck and neck with 2 tier 0 decks. We're going to have Spirals on one end, and then Magicians on the other end, clashing each other out, not canceling each other out. And we're going to go into a heavy hand trap meta, which is something I know a lot of you guys are sick of and tired of. Me personally, I'm tired of this heavy hand trap meta, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, and that's something to look forward to post the release of Extreme Forces. Now, also post the release of Extreme Forces, the possible ban list nuke on Spirals will be insane. We've been having like going out of Zodiac era from like this time last year to now, Zodiac tier 0 deck, Spirals tier 0 deck. It's pretty much common sense at this point. Whenever the next ban list drops, we're gonna get a huge hit on Spirals. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I'm thinking personally Master Plan is gonna get banned. It's the main combo piece to the deck. And maybe we may even take a page out of the OCG and hit Ancient Fairy Dragon, Limit Resort, because Resort allowing your Spiral cards to not be targeted is really freaking good. And then when you also have things like, let's say for example, Spiral Double Helix spam your field with Master Plan and Master Plan tutoring, the deck is more than likely gonna hit. I think Master Plan getting banned would be great for the deck. But even if the deck does get hit, depending on how Konami or TCG does it, if they don't completely crap on the deck in a similar fashion to how they did, let's say for example, Plant Synchros back in the day, it's not gonna do a freaking thing. And that's just due to how powerful Spirals is. They recover too much. Quick Fix is a thing. I mean, if they ban Quick Fix, it'll be great. I don't really care. Not saying that they should ban Quick Fix, but let's think about it. Spirals ban Quick Fix or something like that. Can the deck really succeed? It won't. A lot of the combos are made off of Quick Fix. And then you now have the Dark Spiral version, which is pretty much you sending the dark monsters to the graveyard, you bring back the dragon, come to the field to pop your field spell and just do all the crazy shenanigans. But yeah, possible, let's just say Spirals does get hit. We're gonna have Pendulums take over, for sure. Then we're gonna have a lot of the lower tier decks, which is the next thing I'm gonna talk about, which is Mech Knights taking over as well, because OCG had a meta, like a small little meta period where Mech Knights were topping here and there. I mean, they're called Jack Knights in the OCG. And even in the TCG, Mech Knights, well not in the TCG, but even right now, post their current ban list, Mech Knights are still doing pretty solid. I made a video on Mech Knights explaining, you guys should check that out if you guys want more in-depth analysis about the Mech Knights. But pretty much that's just an archetype based around spamming to the board, They have their cool, unique effects, and they're also based on columns. They have cards that pop monsters on the field, pop spells and traps on the field. I believe they're a link monster, correct me if I'm wrong. And they have some negation effect. And a lot of people are thinking of combining this with the Invoked engine, because as you guys already know, you have the Invoked card, Invoked Mechaba, which is based around if you fusion summon it out with a light monster, you have the ability to discard a card in your hand to do some negation. So while doing more research on the Mech Knight deck, I saw how the Invoked variant was really solid. They go first turn, spam to the field, make Mechaba to have some extra protection on layer, and pass. And usually if your opponent doesn't get rid of that field, it's GG, no re. So if we have a format where you don't have spirals making those crazy boards first turn, and you just have pendulums making crazy boards, we're gonna go back to a dice roll format in which whoever goes first is gonna have a huge advantage, which for better or for worse sucks. I don't like formats like that. I like formats where it's like, even if you do go first, if I outplay you, I just beat you. But yeah, the whole first turn format thing is annoying, but depending on how Konami handles the next ban list is going to determine how it's going to go. I mean, Mech Knights, yes, we're going to get that deck, and we're going to have that deck just be as powerful as it is. But if Konami only nukes spirals and don't hit things like pendulums, like me personally, I believe pendulums should get hit. I believe they should definitely neuter the power of the deck. At the moment, I believe probably they should limit the, I can't think of the name right now, but some of the like Black Fang Magician, the Rose Magician, just limit some of those, hit some of the Astrograph cards, because those cards are the cream of the cream to the deck, just to tone down the power of the pendulums, because just like spirals, they make crazy boards. They can make that one Black Cinco Dragon that when he hits the field, the 3000 beater that just craps on anybody trying to run over him. They can do so much, and if you don't have a kaiju, you can't really out their fields. And then if you do wipe their field, if you don't banish their things like Cosmic Cyclone, they're just gonna pendulum something right back. So on the next ban list, we definitely need to hit like pendulums. We definitely need to weaken spirals, and we also need to make sure that we have a trickle down effect where we hit two of the best decks guaranteed going into that next format. But make sure we do minor hits on everything else to make sure that we don't get things super power creep. Like a great example of a minor hit would be weakening Mermail slightly, not hitting Mermail specifically, but weakening some of the lower tier decks slightly so that they don't just come up and be the next tier 1 or tier 0 deck. Another thing about Extreme Forces, like I mentioned earlier in this video, Hey True Nate is a card that's definitely coming out. It's definitely going to wreck a lot of people. It's going to make a lot of players salty. And even though it's not random, it's, TCG meta is a little different. And what makes it different is we still have people that like to play decks like Paleozoic, where you set 5 from pass. Me personally, I like to play Heroes, where you can set some background pass. With people knowing you're playing those decks, and they can side deck in their Hey True Nate, because it's definitely a side deck card. They can get rid of your back row, bounce everything you have back to your hand, and then you're just gonna sit there with the crazy face, because now you know your opponent's gonna OTK because all of your defense is gone. So it's like, unless you're playing one of the best decks, which is gonna either be Spirals still, Pendulums, or Mech Knights possibly, you're gonna get crapped on by back row removal, which is something I think a lot of players are not gonna like moving forward to this format, because of how the power of Hey True Nate does. I mean, just back row removal. It's the reason why Heavy Storm, Piper Stutterduster, and Giant True Nate is all banned, because when removing your opponent's back row, it puts you in a huge advantage standpoint from everyone else. If you have a powerful deck and they're not running a deck that's not as powerful, it gives you too much of an advantage, which allows you just to crap on everyone that you're gonna play against, especially since Hey True Nate is a secret rare. We're gonna also go into the money aspect of, if you don't pretty much probably drop 40, 50, 60 bucks on this card, or if you don't just pick it up from someone for a discounted value, you're gonna get crapped on by the secondary market if you're not trying to invest too much money into the game, and then you're not gonna do as well as everyone else. And the last thing I wanna talk about for Extreme Forces, how it's gonna change up the meta and everything, FA out of nowhere. Now, FA was showing some awesome support in the in Extreme Forces as being a TCG exclusive archetype. So has Vandred. Vandred got their own Shockmaster. I don't know how good that's gonna do right now, but I'm talking about FA because that's the deck I know better. FA, they have two things that I like about them right now. They have Test Run and they have Hang on Mag. test runs, like quick play spell. You pop a card on the board, you can banish it from the graveyard, pop another card. Things like that is so freaking good. And I believe it boosts levels as well. Then we have Hang On Mag, which essentially is a pseudo dark claw because the whole deck is based around level altering. So when you get Hang On Mag past a level 7, because he's a level 4, he's gonna be like at 2100 attack power because you boost him by 300 for every level star they have. He gets the ability, which is pretty much a walking dark claw. So if he can keep his levels steady past 7 to an 8 or 9 range, guess what? You have your own archetype based dark line. We already know the reason why heroes do well as they do and the Yosuji and do okay as they do with TCG is because the power to banish, keep your opponent's field, hand, and graveyard at bay to making everything go to the banish zone is too good because a lot of decks revolve on the graveyard nowadays. And it also helps power creep out and go against pendulum decks because while they're trying to do their combos by destroying and popping, you can quick play, bring them up to like a level 7, have you a pseudo dark claw for the turn, which is really freaking good. And that's something that once a player like a Jeff Jones or a Billy Bray who knows how to innovate the decks, who knows how to do proper play testing, put their thought and effort into making that deck good, it's definitely gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I think that deck is gonna be an underdog coming into the next format. And I think it's gonna come out of nowhere because it's a really low rarity deck. It's gonna be easy to pick up. You're gonna have some guy at the regionals probably go 7-0 with it, and the deck's gonna be spike up in price and be one of those next good decks that's gonna be come out of nowhere as a tier 1.5, maybe even a tier 1 deck, who knows. But Vandrez on the other hand though, I know people are like, what about the Vandrez? You briefly mentioned them. Vandrez, I think, honestly, from their stand, I haven't read a lot of their support to be frank, but what I do know about them, they did get a Shockmaster because everyone on Facebook was talking about it. The Shockmaster effect is good, and zombie cards are good in general because they have a lot of spamming aboard, but they haven't done nothing yet. And even though FA haven't done nothing, I much rather have a Dark Law type effect in this meta than a Shockmaster effect because, yeah, you could say Shockmaster effect called monsters. In this day and age, that means nothing because you can get Darkhold and you don't know what deck you're going to play against. So even if you do get that effect off, I remember back in the day, Shockmaster was, unless you had 3 on the board, it was kind of easy to play against unless your opponent was already in a losing position, meaning it was more of a win more card, which is why people didn't run it back in windups. On the first release of windup, they eventually ran it later because you could spam 3 to the board and do good. But it's cards like, once you're already winning, it just solidifies your win. It doesn't do much because it's easy to play around. So that's my thoughts on that. So with all that being said, man, put your thoughts and opinions about how Extreme Force is going to change the meta in the comment section down below. Like I said, me personally, I think it's going to shake things up and make the game a lot different. And hopefully when we get a ban list, it has a trickle down effect and bring us stuff back to make things more fun. So once again, this is Innovation YGO. Hit that subscribe button and that like button, and I'm signing out. Peace.